The magic shoes. The shoes arrived without a return address, wrapped in thick brown paper and tied with a string so tight it left red marks on my fingers when I tried to open it. I had not ordered anything, and for a long moment I simply stared at the package, feeling an odd heaviness in my chest, the kind that comes before bad news. When I finally unwrapped it, a pair of old leather shoes lay inside, black, polished yet cracked with age, their surface etched with faint symbols that looked like scratches made by fingernails. They were beautiful in a disturbing way, as if they had been cared for obsessively and hated just as deeply. The smell that rose from them was not leather alone, it was damp earth, rust, and something faintly sweet, like decaying flowers. I told myself it was just my imagination, but the moment my eyes met the shoes, a strange thought echoed in my mind: these were made for you. I tried to laugh it off. Shoes are shoes, I thought, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't bring myself to throw them away. Instead, I placed them in the corner of my room. That night, sleep refused to come easily. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined footsteps pacing slowly across my floor, soft, deliberate, circling my bed. When I finally drifted into a restless sleep, I dreamed of running through endless corridors, my feet moving on their own, faster and faster, while whispers followed behind me, repeating my name in voices that didn't belong to anyone I knew. I woke up drenched in sweat, my heart pounding, and for a terrifying second, I saw the shoes standing neatly beside my bed, though I was certain I had left them across the room. The next morning, curiosity overpowered fear. I picked them up, surprised by how light they felt, and noticed something odd. Despite their age, they fit my feet perfectly. Too perfectly. It was as if the leather reshaped itself around me the moment I slipped them on. The cold touch of the inside sent a shiver up my spine, but it faded quickly, replaced by a strange warmth that spread through my legs. I took a few steps, expecting discomfort, but instead I felt energized, almost euphoric. Each step felt precise, powerful, like the shoes were guiding me rather than the other way around. I told myself I was being foolish, yet a part of me didn't want to take them off. As the days passed, the shoes began to change me. I could walk for hours without feeling tired. My balance improved, my movements became sharper, and I felt an urge to walk even when I had nowhere to go. At night, I found myself wandering the streets, the shoes carrying me through dark alleys and abandoned roads. I didn't feel afraid out there, in fact, I felt drawn to the darkness. The city seemed different at night, quieter, heavier, as if it were holding its breath. Sometimes, I thought I heard footsteps behind me, matching my pace exactly, but whenever I turned around, there was no one there. The first truly horrifying incident happened on the 7th night. I was walking past an old cemetery, its iron gates rusted and half open, when the shoes suddenly turned on their own and carried me inside. I tried to stop, my heart racing, but my legs wouldn't respond. Each step echoed loudly against the stone path, as if the ground itself was counting my movements. The air grew colder, and a thick fog rolled in, wrapping around the gravestones like ghostly fingers. Then I heard it, a slow, dragging sound, as if something heavy was being pulled across the earth. The shoes stopped in front of a cracked tombstone, and before I could scream, a hand burst out of the ground, pale and trembling, clutching at my ankle. I don't remember how I escaped that night. All I know is that I woke up in my bed the next morning, my shoes resting neatly at my feet, their leather smeared with fresh mud. I tried to convince myself it was a nightmare, but the scratches on my ankle told a different story. From that moment on, fear consumed me. I tried locking the shoes away, stuffing them into a closet and piling boxes in front of the door, but every morning they were back, waiting for me, cleaner and shinier than before. It was as if they fed on my terror, growing stronger with every attempt to resist. The whispers started soon after. At first, they were faint, barely audible, murmuring just beyond my hearing. But with each passing night, they grew louder, clearer. They spoke of places I had never been, of people I had never met, yet somehow the voices felt familiar. They told stories of suffering, of endless walking through darkness, of souls trapped between worlds, searching for release. And always, at the end of their whispers, came the same command: walk. I tried seeking help. I showed the shoes to friends, but they laughed, calling them vintage, unique, even lucky. No one else seemed to notice the symbols or smell the rot. When I tried to throw them into a river, my legs carried me straight back to my room before I could reach the water. Panic set in as I realized the truth. The shoes were not just controlling my feet, they were controlling my will. Every night, they took me to darker places, abandoned factories where shadows moved on their own, empty highways where headlights appeared briefly and vanished, forests where the trees whispered secrets older than time. One night, the shoes led me to an old mansion at the edge of the city, a place rumored to be cursed. Its windows were shattered, its walls stained with age and neglect. The front door creaked open as I approached, as if welcoming me inside. The air within was thick with dust and decay, and the silence was so complete it felt unnatural. The shoes carried me through long hallways lined with cracked mirrors. In those mirrors, I didn't always see my reflection. Sometimes, I saw other faces, pale, hollow-eyed, frozen in expressions of terror. They moved when I moved, walked when I walked, trapped inside the glass. In the deepest room of the mansion, I found the truth. A circle of candles surrounded an old journal, its pages yellowed and stained. Though I didn't remember picking it up, the journal was suddenly in my hands, and as I read, a cold realization washed over me. The shoes were created decades ago by a man obsessed with immortality. He believed that if he could bind human souls to an object, he could walk forever, never truly dying. He used the shoes as his vessel, sacrificing countless victims, trapping their spirits within the leather. Each new wearer added to the collection, strengthening the curse. The shoes didn't grant freedom, they stole it. As I finished reading, the whispers grew deafening, filling the room with screams and cries for help. The shoes tightened around my feet, the leather burning like fire. I fell to the ground, clutching my legs, as visions flooded my mind, memories that weren't mine. I saw endless roads, endless nights, endless fear. I saw the faces of those who had worn the shoes before me, their souls trapped, forced to walk for eternity. And then I understood the final horror: the shoes weren't looking for a wearer. They were looking for a replacement. I tried to destroy them. I grabbed a broken piece of wood and smashed it against the shoes, but they didn't even scratch. The whispers laughed, mocking my desperation. The room began to shift, walls stretching and twisting, the floor cracking beneath me. Shadows rose from the corners, taking shape, reaching out with long, clawed hands. The shoes pulled me to my feet and carried me toward the center of the room, where a dark void opened. Beneath me, swirling with trapped souls. In my final moment of clarity, I realized the only way to escape was to pass the curse on. The shoes needed a new walker, someone else to bear the burden. The thought filled me with guilt and horror, but fear is a powerful thing. When the door of the mansion creaked open and I heard footsteps approaching, curious explorers drawn by rumors, I knew what I had to do. The shoes carried me forward, and with a trembling voice, I called out for help. They never stood a chance. Now, the shoes sit quietly in a corner once more, waiting. I am free, but only in body. At night, I still hear the footsteps, still hear the whispers calling my name. Somewhere out there, someone else is walking in my place, their fear feeding the curse. And one day, when the shoes grow hungry again, they will return, polished, perfect, and ready for the next soul brave or foolish enough to slip them on.